Nathan Reeves stood frozen at the viewport, watching as the last escape pod from Proxima B cleared the atmosphere. Behind it, red fire bloomed across the colony's surface. Thousands of lives snuffed out in moments. The Vraxian ships hung in orbit like circling vultures, their angular hulls reflecting the death they had caused. "Commander," his communications officer said quietly, "Admiral Dawson wants you back at Aegis Station immediately." Nathan nodded, unable to look away from the destruction. "Tell her we've rescued all survivors we could find. Final count is 212. 212 survivors from a colony of 15,000. The journey back to Earth's orbital defense station was silent. Nathan spent the hours reviewing footage of the attack, searching for something, anything, that would explain why the Vraxians had violated the peace treaty. But there was nothing. The attack had been unprovoked, ruthless, and precise. Aegis Station hummed with activity as Nathan docked. Medical teams rushed to help the survivors while security personnel maintained order. Nathan made his way directly to the command center where Admiral Patricia Dawson waited, her face grim beneath silver hair. "Commander Reeves," she nodded, "I wish you were returning under better circumstances." "As do I, Admiral," Nathan replied. "The Proxima colony is gone, completely destroyed." Patricia's jaw tightened. "You're not the only one bringing bad news today. Report to Conference Room A in 30 minutes. The entire Defense Alliance leadership is assembling." The conference room was packed with military officers and civilian leaders when Nathan arrived. Faces he recognized from across Earth's colonies and outposts, all wearing the same expression of anger and fear. Nathan took his seat as Patricia called the meeting to order. "Within the past 72 hours, she began, 7 human colonies have been attacked. Proxima B, Europa Outpost, New Washington, Ta City, Armstrong Base, Liberty Station, and Demeter Colony." Gasps and curses filled the room. Nathan felt sick. 7 colonies, thousands more dead. Commander Reeves witnessed the Proxima attack firsthand. Patricia continued, "But intelligence confirms all attacks bear the signatures of different alien powers: the Vraxians, Tellarites, Kularian Dominion, and Noor Hegemony." A civilian stood up, Director William Chen of Earth Intelligence. "We believe these weren't random attacks. Evidence suggests coordination between these powers. They're testing our defenses, probing for weaknesses." "For what purpose?" someone demanded. "To determine if humanity can be eliminated as a potential threat," William replied bluntly. Silence fell across the room. A woman rose from the back, Dr. Olivia Cortez, head of weapons research. Next to her stood Alan Wright, chief physicist of the Mars Science Division. "For 20 years, Olivia said, we've maintained peace through diplomacy and restraint. We've hidden our advances, downplayed our capabilities. That ends today." She nodded to Alan, who activated a holographic display. "Project Thunderbolt is complete," he announced. "The quantum displacement weapon works. We've successfully tested it in controlled conditions." Images appeared showing a small asteroid completely vanishing, leaving only empty space. "Not destroyed," Olivia clarified. "Removed from our reality. Nothing can withstand it. Nothing can defend against it." Patricia stood. "For decades, we've tried peace. We've extended friendship. In return, our colonies burn. Our people die." Her voice hardened. "I'm proposing we demonstrate our true strength. Show the galaxy what humanity is capable of when threatened." The room erupted in debate. Some argued for continued diplomacy. Others demanded immediate retaliation. Nathan watched silently, the faces of Proxima's dead floating in his mind. Eventually, Patricia called for a vote. The decision was nearly unanimous. Then it settled. Patricia declared, "We will issue one final warning to the galaxy: recognition of our sovereignty and our right to exist, or face consequences beyond their imagination." She looked around the room, her eyes settling on Nathan. "Commander Reeves, you've seen their cruelty firsthand. Will you help deliver our message?" Nathan thought of the colony burning, of families torn apart. "Yes, Admiral," he answered. "It's time the galaxy learned to fear humanity's wrath." The Mars military complex buzzed with activity as shuttles arrived hourly. Deep beneath the red surface, humanity prepared its answer to the galaxy's aggression. Dr. Olivia Cortez stood in the central laboratory, surrounded by equations and holographic models of her quantum displacement weapon. "The principles are simple," she explained to Admiral Dawson and Commander Reeves. "We create a bubble of altered space-time that removes the target from our universe. Not destroyed, erased." Nathan frowned. "And there's no defense against it." "None," replied Alan Wright, adjusting his glasses. "You can't shield against something that changes the fundamental nature of reality." Patricia nodded grimly. "How soon until we have operational weapons?" 2 weeks for the prototype," Olivia answered. "A month for production models that can be mounted on ships." "Make it faster," Patricia ordered. "We need to show strength now." In another section of the complex, Lieutenant Maria Garcia put her squad through combat drills. 30 men and women, the best soldiers Earth had produced, trained for operations unlike any humanity had conducted before. "Again," Maria shouted as they cleared a simulated alien structure. "Too slow. If this were a Vraxian ship, half of you would be dead." Sweat poured down her face as she pushed her people harder. Their missions would take them into the heart of enemy territory. There would be no room for error. 3 levels down, Captain Daniel Foster walked through his new command for the first time. The Vengeance gleamed under the hangar lights, Earth's most advanced warship, hidden from alien eyes for 5 years. Its sleek hull concealed weapons that would have violated a dozen treaties. "She'll be ready when you need her, Captain," the chief engineer promised. Daniel ran his hand along a bulkhead. "She needs to be perfect. We'll carry humanity's future in our hands." In a secure communications hub, Intelligence Officer Kevin Bennett sifted through intercepted alien transmissions. His eyes burned from lack of sleep, but he couldn't stop. Something in the patterns troubled him. "Look at this," he said to his team, highlighting communication nodes across a star map. "These powers never coordinated before. Now they're sharing tactical data, patrol schedules, defense codes." A junior analyst leaned forward. "What does it mean?" "It means this isn't random aggression," Kevin replied. "They're preparing for something bigger, possibly the complete elimination of our species." He forwarded his findings to Admiral Dawson, adding another urgent reason to accelerate their plans. 7 days passed in relentless work. The prototype weapon took shape faster than expected, as scientists and engineers worked around the clock. Patricia called them all to witness the first test. A remote-controlled ship carried the device to an uninhabited moon of Jupiter. Leaders and key personnel gathered in the observation center, watching the feed from safe distance. Activating in 3, 2, 1. Olivia's voice was steady as she initiated the sequence. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like reality itself had hiccuped, a perfect sphere of the moon simply vanished. No explosion, no debris, just an empty, perfect circle carved from the surface. Silence fell across the observation room. "Success," Alan whispered. Nathan stared at the screen. "My God." Patricia stood, addressing everyone present. "This is what we needed. Power that cannot be ignored or dismissed." She looked at each of them, Olivia with her invention, Alan with his theories, Maria with her soldiers, Daniel with his ship, Kevin with his intelligence. For too long, humanity has been seen as the galaxy's youngest, weakest children. We extended friendship and received contempt. We offered peace and were given war. Her voice hardened. "That ends now. We are done being the galaxy's victims. With this weapon, we will ensure our survival. Any species that threatens humanity will face extinction." She nodded to Daniel. "Captain Foster, prepare the Vengeance. Commander Reeves, assemble your tactical team. It's time to deliver our warning to the stars." The Project Thunderbolt team dispersed to their stations, each carrying the weight of humanity's future on their shoulders. The galaxy had pushed Earth too far. Now it would learn why that was a mistake. The Vengeance slipped through space, its advanced stealth systems rendering it invisible to Vraxian detection networks. On the bridge, Captain Daniel Foster watched the main view screen as it displayed their target. Thura, a resource-rich moon orbiting the third planet in the Vraxian home system. Status report, Daniel ordered, his voice calm despite the tension filling the bridge. All systems operational, Captain, his first officer replied. Quantum displacement device is primed and ready. Daniel nodded. Commander Reeves, are you certain this is the right target? Nathan stood at the tactical station, studying the scans of the moon. Mining facilities dotted its surface, processing valuable minerals that fueled the Vraxian war machine. I'm certain, Nathan confirmed. This installation produces 60% of their military-grade metals. Thousands work there, but no civilian settlements. It's the perfect demonstration of our power without causing maximum casualties. Daniel turned to the communications officer. Connect me with Diplomatic Officer Warren. Elizabeth Warren's face appeared on a side screen. Though young, her eyes held the weight of their mission. Captain, she acknowledged. Prepare the warning message, Daniel instructed. Give them 1 hour to evacuate their personnel. Elizabeth nodded, her fingers already composing the translation. Should I mention the nature of our weapon? No, Nathan interjected. Let them see it for themselves. The message was simple. All personnel must evacuate Thura within 1 hour or face complete destruction. It was broadcast on all Vraxian frequencies. Impossible to miss. On the tactical display, they watched Vraxian ships respond. Several small vessels approached the moon, but no evacuation transports launched. They're not taking us seriously, Lieutenant Maria Garcia observed from her station. They think it's a bluff. Nathan's jaw tightened. The Vraxians never respected human warnings before. They will now. The hour passed quickly. Daniel looked to his crew, their faces reflecting the gravity of what they were about to do. Any evacuation activity? He asked. None, Captain, came the reply. In fact, they've sent reinforcements to the surface. Daniel exchanged a look with Nathan. This was humanity's turning point. There would be no going back. Record everything, Daniel ordered. The galaxy needs to witness this. He took a deep breath. Target locked. Target locked, Nathan confirmed. Quantum displacement field calibrated for the entire moon. Daniel closed his eyes briefly. For Earth. For Proxima. For all our dead. He opened his eyes. Fire. The Vengeance shuddered slightly as the device activated. On the view screen, a silvery sphere of distorted space expanded from their position, racing toward Thura at faster-than-light speed. When it reached the moon, there was no explosion, no flash. The silvery sphere simply engulfed Thura entirely, and then both vanished. Where a moon had been, only empty space remained. Millions of tons of rock, metal, and infrastructure, along with thousands of Vraxian workers, erased from existence in an instant. Silence fell across the bridge. By all the stars, whispered a junior officer. The tactical display lit up as Vraxian vessels reacted in panic, their communications channels erupting with confused chatter. Defense platforms powered up. Warships changed course. They're mobilizing their fleet, Nathan reported. But they're confused. They don't understand what happened. Daniel nodded. Now for Phase 2. Elizabeth, send the declaration. Elizabeth's fingers flew across her console, transmitting the message that Admiral Dawson had prepared, not just to the Vraxians, but across all major galactic communication channels. The message was being received by thousands of worlds as the Vengeance slipped away, returning to the safety of human space. This is humanity's first and final warning. We have endured unprovoked attacks against our colonies. We have suffered the deaths of our people. No more. What you witnessed at Kura is just one weapon in our arsenal. Recognize our sovereignty. Respect our boundaries. Cease all aggression against human worlds. Those who threaten humanity's existence will face the same fate as Kura. There will be no further warnings. The choice is yours. Peace or oblivion. Admiral Patricia Dawson studied the flood of incoming transmissions on the main display of Aegis Station's command center. The Vraxian collective had responded within hours of Kura's destruction, their message filled with diplomatic language and urgent requests for peace talks. Interesting how quickly they found their manners, Patricia remarked, her voice hard with bitter satisfaction. Nathan stood beside her, scanning the other responses. The Vraxians have always been practical. They've seen what we can do now. Kevin Bennett approached with a data tablet. Not everyone is as impressed. The Tellarites are calling it a trick. The Noor hegemony claims we used a conventional weapon and are bluffing about our capabilities. The Kularian Dominion has made threats against 3 more of our outposts. Patricia's expression darkened. They need another demonstration. Admiral. Kevin hesitated. There's something else. I found evidence of an extensive alien intelligence network operating within our systems. They've been gathering data on Earth defenses, colony locations, military capabilities, everything. How deep does it go? Nathan asked, suddenly alert. Too deep, Kevin replied. Some infiltration points have been active for years. I believe they were planning a coordinated attack against all human settlements. A communication chime interrupted them. Admiral, said the officer on duty, Lieutenant Garcia is requesting an urgent connection from Mars. Maria's face appeared on screen, her expression grim. Admiral, my team has captured an alien operative attempting to sabotage the quantum weapon facility. He was carrying these. She held up a data crystal. Alan Wright took it, plugging it into a secure terminal. Plans and coordinates filled the screen, targeting data for Earth, Mars, and every major human installation. This is a complete battle plan, Alan said, his voice shaking. A systematic extermination of our species. Patricia turned to Nathan. It seems our warning wasn't strong enough. They still think they can destroy us before we destroy them. The Coalition doesn't believe we'll use the weapon again, Nathan observed. They think we're bluffing, that we lack the resolve. Then we need to correct that misunderstanding, Patricia replied coldly. Before she could continue, Elizabeth Warren entered the command center. Admiral, we've received a message from the Arcturian Federation. They're calling for an emergency diplomatic summit, all spacefaring civilizations invited. The Arcturians. Nathan raised an eyebrow. They've stayed neutral in all previous conflicts. They're scared, Elizabeth explained. What happened at Kura frightened them. They want to prevent further escalation. Patricia considered the opportunity. This summit could work in our favor. The coalition powers will be there. We can present our evidence of their planned genocide against us. They'll deny everything, Nathan warned. Let them, Patricia replied. We'll have proof. And if they still refuse to acknowledge our right to exist, she let the implication hang in the air. Commander Reeves, she continued, you'll represent Earth at this summit. Elizabeth will accompany you as diplomatic advisor. Kevin, prepare all evidence of the coalition's plans against us. Nathan nodded, understanding the weight of responsibility. And if they reject our terms? Patricia turned to Dr. Cortez, who had been quietly observing. Olivia, how is production of the compact displacement devices proceeding? 5 units completed, Olivia reported. Small enough to be transported discreetly. Powerful enough to remove a small city from existence. Prepare one for Commander Reeves, Patricia ordered, for protection only. As the meeting dispersed, Daniel Foster contacted them from the Vengeance. Admiral, we're detecting unusual movement from the Kularian fleet. 3 battle groups have changed course toward the TAW system. Patricia's expression hardened. They're testing us. Preparing a second demonstration target. Uninhabited but valuable to the Kularians. If diplomacy fails at the summit, we'll show them our resolve isn't limited to the Vraxians. As Nathan left to prepare for the diplomatic mission, he caught Patricia's final words to her staff. Humanity stood on the edge of extinction. Now we stand at the dawn of a new era, where we will never be victims again. The Arcturian diplomatic station hung in the darkness of space like a gleaming silver flower. Its petals, actually vast docking arms, extended outward to accommodate vessels from 27 different spacefaring civilizations. Nathan Reeves watched from the shuttle viewport as they approached, noting the heavy military presence surrounding the station. Everyone's nervous, Elizabeth Warren observed quietly. Look at all those warships. Nathan nodded. They should be nervous. Their shuttle docked smoothly at the human berth. Before disembarking, Nathan touched the small case secured inside his jacket, feeling the outline of the compact quantum displacement device Dr. Cortez had provided. Just for protection, he reminded himself. The Arcturian greeting party met them with formal politeness, their tall, golden-skinned forms bowing slightly. Commander Reeves, Officer Warren, welcome to Concord Station. The summit begins in 3 hours. As they were escorted to their quarters, Nathan noticed representatives from other species watching them, with expressions ranging from fear to barely disguised hatred. News of Xura's fate had spread rapidly. They're all here, Elizabeth murmured, recognizing delegates from the coalition powers. The Cularians look ready to attack us right here. Let them try, Nathan replied calmly. Our evidence is prepared. Elizabeth nodded. Everything Kevin provided, plus the captured battle plans, irrefutable proof of their planned genocide against us. In their secured quarters, Nathan received a communication from Olivia. Her face appeared on the screen, tired but triumphant. The compact device is functioning perfectly, she reported. If necessary, it will remove a sphere 5 kilometers in diameter from existence. Remember the activation sequence we practiced? I remember, Nathan assured her, but I hope it won't be needed. So do I, Olivia replied. But after what they did to our colonies, her voice trailed off. After reviewing their presentation one final time, Nathan and Elizabeth made their way to the summit chamber, a vast circular room with a central speaking platform surrounded by delegation booths. The Arcturian Prime Mediator opened proceedings with a plea for peace. What happened at Xura has shaken the foundations of galactic civilization. We gather today to prevent further such incidents and find a path forward. When Nathan's turn came to speak, he walked to the central platform with steady steps. The chamber fell silent as he looked around, meeting the eyes of representatives from species that had tried to exterminate humanity. I speak for Earth and all human colonies, he began, his voice carrying clearly. For decades, we extended friendship to the galaxy. We shared our art, our science, our trade. We asked only to exist in peace. He activated his data display, showing images of the destroyed human colonies. This was your answer. Our colonies burned, our people slaughtered. But we did not come here to recount our losses. With a gesture, he brought up the evidence Kevin had uncovered. Communication logs, battle plans, infiltration networks. We came to expose the truth. A coalition formed by the Vraxians, Tellarites, Hilarians, and Noor hegemony planned the complete extermination of humanity. Not conquest, not subjugation, genocide. Outraged denials erupted from the accused delegations. The Cularian representative stood, his scaled skin flushing dark with anger. These are fabrications. Humanity seeks to justify its use of a weapon that violates all galactic conventions. The documents speak for themselves, Nathan replied, displaying the detailed invasion plans captured on Mars. Your operative carried these when we captured him 3 days ago. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs as the evidence was examined. Humanity no longer seeks your approval or permission to exist, Nathan continued when order was restored. We demand recognition of our sovereignty and our territorial claims. We demand an immediate end to all aggression against human worlds. The Tellarite representative laughed harshly. And if we refuse, will you destroy us all with your miracle weapon? Your species lacks the resolve for such actions. Nathan's expression remained perfectly calm. Kura was our demonstration, our warning. There will be no more warnings. The room fell silent as Elizabeth joined him, presenting a formal document. This is humanity's final message to the galaxy, Nathan declared. Recognize our right to exist, withdraw from our territory, or face extinction. The choice is yours. The diplomatic chamber erupted into chaos as Nathan concluded humanity's ultimatum. Representatives shouted over one another, while the Arcturian mediators struggled to maintain order. Nathan and Elizabeth stood firm at the center, unflinching amid the storm. The Vraxian delegate raised his hands for silence. When he spoke, his voice carried a new tone, respect tinged with fear. The Vraxian collective acknowledges humanity's terms. We have seen your power, Ixura. We choose peace. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Vraxians had been the first to attack human colonies, yet now they were the first to back down. The Noor representative rose next, her crystalline form catching the light. The hegemony recognizes Earth's claims. We too seek peaceful resolution. One by one, smaller powers announced their acceptance of human terms. The balance was shifting rapidly. But the Kularian leader slammed his clawed hand on the table. This is cowardice. Humanity bluffs. One weapon, one demonstration, and you all surrender. The Dominion rejects these terms. We will never bow to human demands. The Tellarite delegation joined the Kularians in defiance. Their leader's voice boomed across the chamber. The humans lack the resolve to use such a weapon again. They are soft creatures with soft hearts. This is merely desperation from a species that knows it is outmatched. Nathan exchanged a glance with Elizabeth. They had anticipated this response. Commander, Elizabeth whispered, 13 species have accepted our terms. The coalition is fracturing. Not enough, Nathan replied. As long as the Kularians and Tellarites believe we're bluffing, other powers will be encouraged to resist. He activated his secure communicator. Admiral Dawson, we have partial acceptance. The Kularians and Tellarites are calling our bluff. Patricia's voice came through clearly. Then it's time for the second demonstration. Captain Foster is already in position. Across the galaxy, the Vengeance hovered at the edge of an uninhabited star system claimed by the Kularian Dominion. At its center orbited a massive gas giant designated Q-17, rich in valuable elements the Kularians harvested for fuel. Daniel Foster stood on his bridge, reviewing final preparations. Target locked on Q-17. No life forms detected. Quantum displacement device at full power. Sir, his first officer asked, removing an entire gas giant. The calculations suggest it could destabilize the system. Daniel nodded grimly. That's precisely the point. Proceed with countdown. Back at the diplomatic summit, Nathan received confirmation that the demonstration was underway. He returned to the central platform. The Kularian Dominion and Tellarite Union believe humanity lacks resolve, he announced. They believe we will not act again. This misunderstanding will now be corrected. He activated the main display, showing a live feed from the Vengeance's external cameras. The massive gas giant filled the screen, swirling storms visible on its surface. This is Q-17, the primary fuel source for the Kularian fleet. The Kularian delegate leaped to his feet. You wouldn't dare. That planet is essential to our economy. Watch, Nathan replied simply. On screen, a silver sphere of distorted space expanded from the Vengeance, racing toward the gas giant. When it made contact, the effect was far more dramatic than Ixura. The quantum displacement field sank into the planet's atmosphere, and for a moment nothing happened. Then, like a balloon suddenly popped, the entire gas giant collapsed inward. The displacement field had removed the planet's core from existence, creating a vacuum that crushed the remainder of the massive world into nothingness. The chamber watched in horrified silence as the system's delicate balance shifted. Smaller moons began altering course, their orbits destabilized by the sudden absence of the gas giant's gravity. "By the ancestors," the Tellarite delegate whispered. Nathan waited for the full impact to register before speaking again. This was an uninhabited world. No lives were lost. But the message should be clear. Humanity's patience is exhausted. Our terms are non-negotiable. Before he could continue, alarms blared throughout the station. The Arcturian mediator received an urgent message, his golden skin paling. "We've detected a large Kularian battle fleet jumping toward the Sol system," he announced. "They appear to be on attack vector for Mars." Nathan's expression hardened. It seems the Kularians require one final lesson. Maria Garcia crouched behind a power conduit as plasma fire scorched the wall behind her. 3 Kularian infiltrators had breached the Mars complex's outer defenses, heading straight for the quantum weapon production facility. They had timed their attack perfectly, just as the Kularian fleet launched its desperate assault against Earth. "Sierra Team, East Corridor secure," her lieutenant reported through the comm. "2 hostiles neutralized." "Hold position," Maria ordered. "The last one is heading for the reactor core." She moved silently through the shadows, tracking the final infiltrator. The alien was larger than the others, wearing advanced stealth armor. A saboteur trained to destroy the entire facility. When the Kularian reached the reactor control room, Maria made her move. Her first shot disabled the alien's shield. The second struck its weapon. The Kularian spun around, drawing a blade from its armor. "Your species dies today," it hissed. Maria's expression remained calm. "Not today." The fight was brief but vicious. When it ended, Maria stood over the fallen infiltrator, blood running from a gash on her arm. She activated her comm. "Facility secure." Sabotage attempt failed. In Earth orbit, Admiral Dawson watched as the Kularian battle fleet emerged from hyperspace. 47 warships, nearly their entire military force, arranged in attack formation. "They're desperate," Patricia observed. "They know what happens if they lose." Earth's defense platforms activated, targeting systems locking onto the approaching vessels. But Patricia had one more surprise waiting. "Activate the orbital displacement array," she ordered. Hidden satellites positioned around Earth's orbit came online, their technology based on Olivia's revolutionary work. As the Kularian ships closed in, silver fields of distorted spacetime bloomed around them. Ship after ship simply vanished, not destroyed, but removed from existence. Within minutes, only 7 Kularian vessels remained, their formation shattered, their advantage gone. "Open a channel," Patricia commanded. When the Kularian commander appeared on screen, his scales had turned pale with shock. "This is Admiral Dawson of Earth Defense. Your infiltration team on Mars has been neutralized. Your fleet is decimated. Surrender now, or join them in oblivion." The surrender was immediate and unconditional. At the Arcturian diplomatic station, Nathan received news of the failed attack and Earth's victory. The chamber had fallen completely silent, every representative watching him with new understanding. "The Kularian attack has failed," he announced. "Their fleet no longer exists. This is humanity's final demonstration." The Tellarite delegation, seeing their last ally defeated, rose slowly. The Tellaric Union. Their leader's voice trembled slightly, accepts humanity's terms in full. One by one, every remaining power in the galaxy acknowledged human sovereignty. The coalition that had planned humanity's extinction now begged for mercy. 3 weeks later, representatives from all 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered on Aegis Station for the signing of the Treaty of Sol. Nathan stood beside Admiral Dawson as the document was presented, a new framework for galactic relations with humanity at its center. "Today marks a new beginning," Patricia addressed the assembled delegates. "Humanity offers peace to those who accept our right to exist. We offer protection to those who cannot protect themselves. and we offer fair warning to any who would threaten that peace." The signing proceeded in solemn order. When completed, Nathan met with Elizabeth to discuss the implementation of new diplomatic protocols. "Will it last?" Elizabeth asked quietly. "Peace built on fear." Nathan looked out at the stars. "Not on fear alone. The quantum weapons will be secured. A deterrent, not a first response. We'll build this peace on strength, yes, but also on justice and cooperation." In the months that followed, humanity expanded its influence throughout the galaxy. Smaller species that had suffered under the domination of larger powers sought Earth's protection. Trade flourished along routes now secured by human patrols. On Mars, Olivia and Alan continued their research, developing technologies to benefit all species. Maria's security teams became peacekeepers, preventing conflicts before they could erupt into violence. Daniel Foster and the Vengeance led a new fleet of exploration vessels, seeking out undiscovered worlds and civilizations, approaching them with offers of friendship backed by unspoken power. In his quarters on Aegis, Nathan reviewed reports from across the galaxy. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged not just surviving, but leading. Not through conquest or cruelty, but through the determination to never again be victims. I'll create an epilogue as part 8 of your story, Echoes of Power. 5 years had passed since humanity delivered its final warning to the galaxy. On a remote observation platform orbiting Jupiter, Nathan Reeves stood beside Admiral Dawson, watching a remarkable ceremony unfold. Below them, representatives from 34 species gathered in the enormous chamber. Once enemies, now allies under the Pax Humana, the peace that Earth had established through strength and maintained through vigilance. "I never thought I'd see this day," Patricia said quietly, her hair now completely silver. Former enemies working together, smaller species thriving without fear of conquest. Nathan nodded. "The Galactic Council has exceeded our expectations." The Council had been Nathan's initiative, a governing body where all spacefaring civilizations could participate, their voices equal, but with humanity holding final authority on matters of security. Today they celebrated the completion of the first joint scientific venture, a massive stellar monitoring network that would benefit all worlds. Commander Garcia sends her report from the border regions, Patricia noted, checking her communications. The Vraxians are honoring all treaty obligations. Their new leadership seems genuine in their desire for cooperation. Maria had taken command of Earth's peacekeeping fleet, patrolling the edges of human space. Her reputation for fairness had earned respect even from former enemies. "And what about Dr. Cortez's project?" Nathan asked. Patricia's expression grew serious. "The quantum vault is complete. All displacement weapons have been secured inside, accessible only with triple authentication from Earth leadership." This had been the most controversial decision. Storing rather than destroying the weapons that had changed the balance of galactic power. Many had argued for dismantling them completely, but Nathan had insisted they remain as humanity's final insurance policy. "A deterrent only," Nathan reaffirmed. "Never to be used unless our existence is threatened again." As they watched the ceremony continue, a young diplomatic officer approached. "Commander Reeves, Admiral, we've received a transmission from the Vengeance. Captain Foster has made first contact with a previously unknown civilization in the Perseus Arm." Daniel had continued his mission of exploration, seeking out new species and bringing them into the growing interstellar community. "Any concerns?" Patricia asked. "No, Admiral. They're a young species, just developing faster than light travel. Captain Foster reports they were initially frightened, but grew curious when we shared our knowledge freely." Nathan smiled slightly. "Remind Captain Foster of First Contact Protocol 3. "Yes, sir. Approach with friendship, but ensure they understand the consequences of hostility." As the officer departed, Nathan and Patricia moved to a private observation deck. Earth was visible as a distant blue dot, surrounded by the defensive grid that had stopped the Cularian attack. "Sometimes I wonder if we went too far," Patricia admitted. "The quantum displacement technology gave us the power of gods." And the responsibility to use it wisely, Nathan replied. We never wanted domination, just the right to exist without threat. Below them, the ceremony concluded with representatives of formerly hostile species standing side by side with humans, planning joint ventures and trade agreements. Small civilizations that had once cowered under the shadow of powerful empires now developed their cultures freely under Earth's protection. The original coalition planned to wipe us out completely, Nathan reminded her. Instead, we created something better than what existed before. A communication alert chimed softly. Elizabeth Warren, now Earth's chief diplomat, appeared on screen. The Arcturian Federation has proposed expanding the scientific exchange program to include all member worlds, she reported. And the Tellarites, yes, the Tellarites, have offered their shipyards to help build the next generation of exploration vessels. After the call ended, Nathan gazed out at the stars. Not just peace through fear, he said, echoing a conversation from years ago. Peace through strength, justice, and mutual benefit. Patricia nodded. Humanity's warning was heard. But so was our offer of friendship to those who accepted our place in the galaxy. As they prepared to return to Earth, Nathan took a final look at the assembled species below. Former enemies, now allies, gathering under the protection of a humanity that had transformed from victim to guardian of a new galactic order. We never wanted to rule, he said quietly, but we will never bow again.